Andrew Scheer just absolutely unloaded on Mark Carney and the whole Liberal Party for their ridiculous budget that they just put out. He says Carney's first budget, zero tax relief on food, zero tax relief for working families. But if you have $100 million burning a hole in your pocket, Mark Carney did you a huge favor. Interesting. So let's have a look at what Andrew Scheer uncovered here. Now, before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for doing that for me. So let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it.
I finally found it. It took a while, but it's in there. This week was budget week, and millions of Canadians suffering under the cost of living crisis. All those people who are lined up for food banks because they can't afford the price of food were desperately hoping that there would be something in Mark Carney's first budget to bring down prices. And at first, it didn't look good, but I found it. It's on page 220. There is something in there for you to bring prices down if you're in the market for a private jet or luxury yacht.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. There's literally nothing here to bring down groceries, to bring down the cost of housing, to deal with any of the inflation caused by Liberal deficits. In fact, this whole budget is full of billions and billions in new spending that you'll have to pay for, including all that new debt charges on Mark Carney's massive deficits. But on page 220, here it is. To provide relief, Budget 2025 announces the government's intention to end the luxury tax on aircraft and vessels. You know, I want to know how this happened. How does Mark Carney look at the landscape in Canada, see all those people lining up at food banks, the young people moving back into their parents' basement because they can't afford housing, and arrive at this? When I talk to my friends and neighbors, they're looking for ways to bring down their grocery bills. They're literally cutting out beef and all the extras just to make ends meet. When Mark Carney goes around the room at the country club and says, "What are you guys feeling the pinch on?" Carney, old bean, if you want to really help lower the cost of things, how about that luxury tax on private jets and yachts? The last time I bought a Gulfstream, I had to pay millions. We were all elbows up for you, so it's time you did something for us. What's crazy about that is that when someone pitched that idea...
All right, look. I like Andrew Scheer, but that was corny as hell. And there's a lot of people, said this yesterday in a video, who seem to want Pierre-Poilievre replaced, and I keep telling them there's no one else. Stuff like that kind of shows like he's kind of like a goofy guy. People don't really take him serious. Again, I don't have too much bad to say about him, but he can be really cringe sometimes.
Yeah, Carney said, he's right, you know, and now it's in the budget. Not a single measure to bring down home prices, not a single measure to bring down grocery prices, not a single measure to fight inflation. Nothing to take off the taxes on grocery farming and production. Instead, a tax break on private jets and yachts. That's Mark Carney's idea of making life more affordable. Another crazy thing, they left the luxury tax there on vehicles. There are lots of vehicles that cost over $100,000 that farmers or tradespeople use, or many different industries would need those kinds of vehicles. All those working people will still pay that luxury tax, but good old Rupert, he's cashing in. Pierre-Poilievre and the Conservatives are fighting for an affordable budget for an affordable life. Real measures that stop inflation, bring grocery prices down, and end the practice of so much of your tax dollars going just to pay the interest on all that debt. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. And if you don't like these videos, just scroll on. And as always, thanks for watching.
For the most part, I like the video. Just cut out the cringy crap. But other than that, he's right. Like Mark Carney was never here to lower taxes and make life affordable and keep criminals in prison and all these other things that we all hate. He is here to make himself even more wealthy along with his friends, like Donald Trump. I don't understand how people don't see it yet. I also do kind of tend to think there's a little bit of a political burnout right now. I don't think people really care as much. I think a lot of people are just asleep at the wheel. They're very content with Mark Carney because after all the Trudeau drama and, you know, the stuff with the United States, and we've had provincial elections, the U.S. federal election, all in the last basically a year, I think people are just kind of like, look, let's give him a little bit of time and, you know, talk to me in the spring. And that's when I think people are going to start to finally wake up and turn around here. all those swing voters that went that ditched Justin Trudeau, that went to Pierre Poilievre, then back to Carney, are likely going to come back to Pierre. This is why you're seeing the Liberals kind of go after Pierre Poilievre a lot right now. They keep saying the word floor crossings with an S at the end, even though there's only been one. They're trying to make it look like there's a revolution or a coup in the Conservative caucus against Pierre Poilievre. There's not. But they're trying to make people think that he's unpopular, and they want to try to convince people to get him out as leader, because as we saw in the Abacus Toronto Star poll, Pierre is the only one that even competes with Mark Carney. In fact, he was the only Conservative leader who actually is currently pulling slightly ahead. Now, that being said, when I say slightly ahead, it's within the margin of error. So it's not good for the Conservatives to go for an election. That's why they voted with the Liberals the other day when the Bloc put forward their budget amendment. For those of you who don't know, the Bloc put out an amendment, and if you voted to pass it, there was something in there about triggering an election. It was basically a vote of non-confidence. Well, the Bloc voted for it, the NDP voted for it, and so did Elizabeth May. Which means if the Conservatives voted in favor of it, there would have been an election, which is not only bad for the Conservatives, but bad for Canada. A lot of people don't like that Pierre and the Conservatives voted with the Liberals. Oh, uniparty this, uniparty that. No, it's better right now to hold off on election. Whether you like it or I like it, which I don't, or not, Mark Carney is going to, the people of Canada, especially here out east, are going to give him time. At least 1 year. He will not have the same luxury as Justin Trudeau in terms of winning election after election after election for 10 years. But they're not going to just change their mind after 7 months, man. They're just not. They're not ready yet. And if you force them to go to an election now, and the Conservatives vote for that, what do you think Mark Carney's going to do? And the mainstream media, oh, Canadians don't want a Christmas election, but Pierre Poilievre caused it. There will be people who turn on him if we have an election right now. So, and I know it's frustrating. I don't want Mark Carney to be in there either, but we got to be a little bit more patient. This video by Andrew Scheer, other than the weird pipe smoking bit, was very good, informative. Share it. But there's going to be people who are going to still give him Mark Carney a chance, at least for the next little while. You will see the tide turn even more. It's starting to turn a little bit. There are some people who have buyer's remorse right now, but it's not enough. And if we go to a Christmas election, you're probably going to see very low turnout also. That's not good for the Conservatives. For a new movement to happen, you need a high amount of turnout. There's not enough people who will care. Trust me. As painful as it is, we just got to wait a little bit more. Andrew Scheer, Pierre Poilievre, Michael Barrett, all these great Conservatives that we all love, they're going to continue to expose Mark Carney, and then eventually they will see it. Maybe it's going to take a little bit longer than a year, but the Bloc, the NDP, their numbers are going to start to rise after March, you'd think. So we'll see. So please just be patient, try to have hope. I know it's difficult. We'll get there eventually. We just have to play this smart.